Imagine a single continuous story stretching back 12,000 years. It is a tale longer than that of the pyramids, older than the city of Rome, a narrative that has unfolded without a single break on one vast stage. The Indian subcontinent. This is not just a history of kings and battles, but a living epic of farmers, traders, poets, pilgrims. It is the story of how ancient hunter-gatherers, adapting to a changing world, laid the foundations for one of humanity's great civilizations. To understand this long journey is to understand the deep roots of the modern nation of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and to appreciate the incredible resilience and creativity of their people, whose past is always present. This immense landmass, shielded by the Himalayas to the north and cradled by the Indian Ocean on its other three sides, has been a world unto itself for millennia. It is a place of staggering diversity, from snow-capped peaks to sun-scorched deserts, from lush jungles to fertile river plains. Yeah. Our story begins around 10,000 BCE, as the last ice age loosened its grip on the planet. The climate of the Indian subcontinent grew warmer and wetter, causing forests to expand and rivers to swell. For the Mesolithic, or Middle Stone Age, people who lived here, this was a time of great change and opportunity. They were hunter-gatherers, living in small mobile groups. Their lives are vividly captured in the rock paintings at places like Bhimbetka in central India. On the walls of these ancient shelters, they painted scenes of hunting, dancing, communal life, leaving behind a ghostly, beautiful record of their world and their connection to the animal spirits that surrounded them. These early inhabitants were masterful survivors, possessing a deep knowledge of the land and its resources. They crafted small, sharp stone tools called microliths, which they used for hunting game to processing plants. They followed the seasonal migrations of animals and the ripening of wild grains, their lives dictated by the rhythms of nature. The Bhimbetka paintings, some of which are over 10,000 years old, show men with spears, men with bows, chasing deer and bison. They also depict women gathering food and children playing, giving us a rare and intimate glimpse into the social fabric of these long-vanished communities, a world without cities or kings. Then, around 7000 BCE, a revolutionary change began to take root in the foothills of what is now Pakistan. At a site called Mehrgarh, people began to experiment with a new way of life. Instead of just gathering wild barley and wheat, they started to cultivate them intentionally. They also began to domesticate animals like goats, sheep, and cattle. This was the dawn of the Neolithic Revolution in South Asia, the slow and monumental shift from hunting and gathering to farming. It was a change that would anchor people to one place. Around 3300 BCE, the seeds planted by the first farmers at Mehrgarh blossomed into one of the world's earliest and most spectacular urban civilizations. Along the fertile floodplains of the Indus River and its tributaries, a network of highly organized towns and cities emerged. This civilization, known today as the Indus Valley or Harappan civilization, was a contemporary of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, yet it developed its own unique character. Its people built the first planned cities in South Asia, grid-like street layouts, advanced water management systems, massive public structures, all constructed with standardized baked bricks. The sheer scale and sophistication of these cities are breathtaking. At sites like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, archaeologists have uncovered evidence of a highly advanced society. Most houses had their own private wells and bathrooms, connected to a complex citywide drainage system of covered channels that ran beneath the streets, an achievement of civic engineering unmatched until the Roman era. A large, mysterious structure known as the Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro suggests that ritual purification played an important role in their culture. These were not chaotic settlements. They were the product of careful planning and a strong, centralized authority, though we have found no evidence of palaces or royal tombs. The people of the Indus Valley were skilled artisans and far-reaching traders. They developed a system of standard weights and measures, which facilitated commerce across their vast domain, stretching for hundreds of miles. Archaeologists have found their distinctive terracotta seals, intricately carved with animal motifs and an enigmatic script as far away as Mesopotamia. Mesopotamian texts refer to a trading partner named Meluha, believed to be the Indus Valley, from which they imported goods like carnelian beads, timber, and copper. Following the decline of the Indus cities, a new cultural force began to take shape in the northern subcontinent. Around 1500 BCE, semi-nomadic pastoralist groups migrated into the Punjab region from Central Asia. They called themselves Aryans. They were speakers of an early Indo-European language, which would evolve into Sanskrit. They did not build great cities, but brought a rich oral tradition of hymns, poems, and rituals. Gods representing natural forces like fire, Agni, sun, Surya, thunder, Indra. These compositions, the Vedas, are the oldest scriptures of Hinduism. The early Vedic period was a rustic tribal age. Society was organized around clans led by chieftains or rajas. Authority depended on protecting the clan and their herds of cattle, which were the primary measure of wealth. Religion focused on elaborate fire sacrifices, yajnas, performed by a specialized priestly class, the Brahmins. Brahmins memorized and passed down the sacred Vedic hymns. The period saw the beginnings of the Varna system, a social hierarchy. Top tiers, Brahmins, priests, Kshatriyas, warriors. A crucial shift around 1000 BCE, the introduction of iron. Iron tools, harder and more durable than bronze, allowed clearing of dense Gangetic forests. This opened vast new lands for agriculture, causing a major population shift eastward from the Punjab. Settled farming led tribal structures to give way to complex political formations. Villages grew into towns. Territorial kingdoms emerged along the Ganges and its tributaries. By the 6th century BCE, 16 great kingdoms and republics, the Mahajanapadas, arose. The intellectual and spiritual ferment of the 6th century BCE gave rise to new schools of thought that challenged the old Vedic order. Two figures in particular left an indelible mark on the subcontinent and the world. Siddhartha Gautama, a prince from the Shakya clan, renounced his worldly life in search of an end to suffering. After attaining enlightenment, he became the Buddha moderation ethics meditation. At the same time, another teacher, Mahavira, revitalized the ancient Jain tradition, nonviolence, ahimsa, asceticism. These new philosophies offered spiritual paths open to all, regardless of their caste or social standing. This period of philosophical dynamism was matched by a drive for political unification. The kingdom of Magadha, strategically located in the eastern Gangetic plain, grew to become the most powerful of the Mahajanapadas. This culminated in the 4th century BCE with the rise of the Mauryan Empire. Its founder, Chandragupta Maurya, established the first great pan-Indian empire, uniting the subcontinent from the Himalayas to the Deccan Plateau. His grandson, Ashoka, became one of the most remarkable rulers in world history. After a bloody war to conquer Kalinga, Ashoka was filled with remorse and converted to Buddhism, transforming his reign. Ashoka's rule marked a turning point. He renounced military conquest and instead sought to rule according to the principles of Dhamma, non-violence, compassion, social welfare. He had his edicts, promoting this vision, carved on pillars and rocks, show Ashokan pillar with lion capital, using local languages so his subjects could read them. He sponsored the building of stupas, Buddhist monuments, monasteries. He sent Buddhist missions across Asia and the Middle East, beginning its transformation into a world religion. The Mauryan Empire, with its efficient administration and its emperor's moral vision, created a political and cultural template for centuries to come. After the decline of the Mauryans, the subcontinent saw a period of regional kingdoms before another great empire, the Gupta Empire, rose in the same Gangetic heartland around 320 CE. The Gupta period is often described as a golden age of classical Indian civilization. Relative peace, prosperity, cultural and scientific achievement. The collapse of the Gupta Empire opened a long medieval period characterized by a mosaic of powerful regional kingdoms. In the south, maritime empires like the Cholas rose to prominence. The Cholas were master seafarers and traders. Their influence reached across the Bay of Bengal to Southeast Asia. They were prolific temple builders, Brihadiswara Temple in Thanjavur temples, as centers of community life, art, commerce. These southern kingdoms maintained a vibrant, distinct cultural identity. Meanwhile, the northwestern frontiers were a gateway for new influences. From the 8th century, Arab traders brought Islam to the coasts. Turkish and Afghan warriors arrived from Central Asia around the 11th century. In 1206, the Delhi Sultanate was established. This began interaction between Hindu, Buddhist, Jain cultures and Islamic civilization. The Delhi Sultanate, and later the Mughal Empire, founded by Babur in 1526, brought changes. They introduced new administration law, military technology. A fusion of Persian, Turkic, Indian cultures emerged, shown in language and the birth of Urdu music, food and architecture. The Mughals were patrons of a grand blended architectural style. Shah Jahan produced the Taj Mahal, an ivory white marble mausoleum built for his wife. This period wasn't simply conquest from the north. The immense wealth of the subcontinent, particularly its spices and textiles, had long attracted European traders. Beginning in the 16th century, Portuguese trading companies established coastal forts and factories. Dutch trading companies established coastal forts and factories. French trading companies established coastal forts and factories. British trading companies established coastal forts and factories. For a long time, they were minor players, operating at the mercy of powerful Mughal rulers. However, as the Mughal Empire weakened in the 18th century, the British East India Company began to exploit the political vacuum. Shrewd diplomacy, military superiority, playing local rulers against each other, the company transformed itself from a trading concern into a territorial power, conquering vast swathes of India. The turning point came in 1857 with a massive rebellion against the company's rule, known as the Indian Mutiny or the First War of Independence. Though the rebellion was ultimately suppressed, it led the British Crown to dissolve the East India Company and assume direct control over India in 1858, beginning the period known as the British Raj. British rule brought profound changes. They built railways, telegraph lines, and a unified administrative system. But their policies were primarily designed to serve British economic interests, often at the expense of local industries and the welfare of the Indian people, leading to famines and widespread poverty. The experience of colonial rule also fostered a new sense of Indian national identity. A long and arduous freedom struggle emerged, led by figures like Mahatma Gandhi, who championed a powerful and unique strategy of non-violent civil disobedience. After decades of protests, negotiations, and immense sacrifice, the British finally agreed to grant independence. However, the legacy of colonial divide and rule policies, combined with deep-seated political and religious tensions, led to the tragic partition of the subcontinent in 1947. India-Pakistan, a process that unleashed horrific violence and one of the largest mass migrations in human history. Since independence, the nations of the subcontinent have charted their own distinct paths. Despite facing immense challenges of poverty, diversity, and regional conflicts, they have remained. India has grown into the world's largest democracy with a rapidly expanding economy. Today, the entire region is a place of dynamic change, youthful energy, and technological innovation. The story that began with hunter-gatherers in painted caves 12,000 years ago has not ended. It continues today as the people of the subcontinent draw on their incredibly rich and ancient heritage to build their future. adding a new, modern chapter to one of the world's oldest and most compelling epics.